Hey class, this week we are going to do a inventory management. So we are setting up a inventory table. The current data sheets demonstrate last year's sales number, inventory, and reduction. So what we're going to do is to base on the monthly sales, inventory numbers, and reductions to calculate seasonal figures. On the second data sheet, we're going to copy last year's sales number, last year's inventory number, and to plan sales BOM, EOM of the following year. So let's get started. So first of all, let me make it clear that we are doing a 6 months plan. So the 6 months would either involves February, March, April, May, June, July, that's the spring season, or we would do it from August to January, that's the fall season. Okay. Currently, the table shows numbers from February to August, but we will love to highlight the 6 months that covered in the spring season. Okay, August is not included. So first of all, let's calculate the first number in table 3. Table 1 is the monthly spreadsheet. Table 2 is seasonal, and table 3 is seasonal but requires some calculation. First of all, let's do the seasonal sales. Seasonal sales equals the sum of all monthly sales. That's the total of 6 sales. So we will do a sum, and you can either type or you can use a mouse to drag through 6 cells to get the number. For reductions, we will do the same thing. We type an equal number, we type an equal sign and do sum, include 6 numbers from the reductions. Reduction in percentage equals reduction in dollars, which we have calculated earlier, over the seasonal sales, which we have also calculated. Average stock, well, average stock is a bit tricky. By definition, it is the total of all BOMs and also the last year's of EOM divided by the number of months. So divided by number of BOMs plus the last year's, the last month EOM. So that's usually 7 numbers. In order to calculate the average, we have 2 solutions. One is that we do sum of all 7 figures divided by 7, or we can do a easier way, and the proper way I would recommend. Let's do the average. So let's type an equal sign, type average, and cover 7 numbers. So the BOM is beginning inventory. Let's cover 6 beginning of inventory plus the last month's EOM. The last month's EOM is the July's EOM, which is equivalent to August's BOM. So we can do a shortcut, just selecting 7 numbers here from February to August. Okay. Next, let's do average stock at cost. It's the same thing. We type equal sign average and we cover 7 numbers in total. The next cell is the turnover. So turnover by definition is the total net sale over the average inventory at retail. We have the net sale calculated already, and we have the average inventory at retail calculated already. So a seasonal turnover is a ratio number. It equals 2.49. To be sure, it has no percentage sign or a dollar sign. Next one is the average monthly sales. So average monthly sales is the total divided by the number of months. Yes, we can do the sum divided by 6, or a better way I recommend would be do average, then cover a total of 6 months. Okay. Maintain the markup. This applies to both dollars and percentage numbers. The formula is on the right side, and in this case we're using this maintain the markup in percentages. So first of all, let's find gross margin in percentage. There's gross margin percentage here, and cash discounts in percentage here, and plus the alteration in percentage. 3 numbers together, we get the maintained markup in percentage. Last one is the GMROI. So GMROI is by definition gross margin over average inventory at cost. So we do not have gross margin in dollars, but we can convert the gross margin in percentage to dollars, right? So it equals gross margin in percentage times net sales, and that equals to the gross margin in dollar. Let's put this over average inventory at cost. That gives us a GMROI. Again, let me say that GMROI is a ratio number. It equals 2.81 with no percentage sign or a dollar sign. It's just a ratio. That completes the first page. All the numbers on the first page, sheet 1 inventory page, all the numbers are actual numbers. So they're recorded from the last year, and we are using those numbers to plan the sales and inventory of the following year. So let's switch to the second one. The second one asks what are the sales number from last year. So the sales number are actually here, right? We can do a paste, and the paste again is not a usual paste. Since we see here this column, numbers are arranged vertically, while in this current page the numbers are arranged horizontally. So we've introduced this function that's called transpose. So when you do the paste, we can choose either paste usual, or we can choose transpose paste. This will give us all those numbers in the other direction. Okay? So let me do this paste pose. And I will do this BOMs as well. BOM equals the beginning inventory at retail. I am doing this transpose again. Of course, you can just do the transpose directly, but so I did a transpose to a blank space. So next step is to calculate the SSR. Okay, SSR equals, it's the stock to sales ratio. So stock means the BOM. Okay. 2 cells, so divided by cells. That's how we calculate the SSR. And we can just drag it to the right side so that this row, okay, uses the same formula all. Okay. For August, since we're not planning the number for August, we don't have to do the August number. But if we are using the August number later, say if we are using August's number to plan the purchases of July, then it's recommended that we fill in this column as well. If we find no need, then this column can just be blank. Okay. Let's do the total first. So the total sales would be the sum of our 6 months. Plan BOM equals, since we are sharing the same SSR number, the same SSR ratio for both years, we are using the same number for both years. So it's the SSR times this year's sales. And we're dragging this to the right, so this being planned. And for EOM, well, EOM of February, that's the end of the month stock of February, would be equivalent to the beginning of the month of March. That's when the last day of February, when we close the door, we have that amount of inventory. And that will be equals to the inventory that we have when we open the door on the first day of March, right? So we don't have to type any formula. We just need to know that this sales, the value of this cell equals to the value of the next month's BOM. Okay. We can also drag this to the right, but not to the very last one. Okay. The BOM of July is a bit tricky. I have several options for you. Okay. If there's no purchase planned for July, that's the last month, EOM of the last month, then we have one way of calculating it. If purchases are planned, then there are other ways. It could be just the average inventory of the season or BOM of the following month, okay, in case we know, or it could be any arbitrary number that we feel, say, confident or appropriate. And many companies have their own ways of deciding last year's EOM. So for this one, we just leave it there. For the total sales, we have the sum of each month's sales. So those numbers are for sure, but the last month's EOM, well, it's undecided. We will have to use a formula depending on what situations are told in the problem. So that's it.